Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the FM Show. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Tom.
And today we're going to be revealing some exciting new features around scouting and transfers in Football Manager 2019. So let's get into it. So this is, of course, the fourth episode of this season of the FM Show. That means there's 3 episodes that you may not have seen. In the previous episodes, we covered the headline feature news and
Tactics,
and then, of course, the announce of the game. So if you guys want to find out more about tactics or the general headline features for Football Manager 2019, check out the playlist link down below to see all the episodes of the FM Show. There's a lot of content there for you guys to digest. And on top of that, we're also revealing features on our social media channels such as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Links down below to all of those if you guys want to go and check them out. But we have scouting and transfer changes to talk about today, haven't we, Tom?
Yes, we do indeed. Should we jump into it?
Let's get into the scouting changes.
Last year, we introduced some pretty massive changes to the way scouting works in the game, and we've sort of built upon that again for FM 2019. So there's a lot of stuff to help you really get the best out of the Scouting Centre. So let's start with the Scouting Centre. And first thing you'll notice is that it's really been adapted to make the best use of the space on the screen. So there's a lot more information contained within the Scouting Centre, and it actually looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. The scouting card that you would be served previously, we've kind of made it so that no matter what resolution, however you look at it, it's just way more adaptive. It fills the space better.
Exactly.
And you can get all the information you need in a bit of a more digestible way.
Yeah.
So yeah, a few changes to the way a scouting card looks, which is always nice, isn't it?
Yeah, so sticking with the Scouting Centre, you'll notice across the top now, we've got different options to really help you customise that Scouting Centre experience to you and really get the best out of your scouting team as well. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the filters that are on the Scouting Centre.
Let's have a look.
When you go into the filters, you'll see you have different options from the different areas of your scouting team, and you can process their recommendations in different ways. So if you want to see information from your scouting team in particular delivered to your inbox, you can do that through the filter system. If you want to see reports from your analysts staying within the Scouting Centre, you can customise it that way. You can also filter things like agent offers, agent notifications, free agent offers. So there's lots of different ways that you can customise this experience, and as well, we've added in a huge amount of advanced filters.
Yeah, exactly. Once we head to the advanced filters, you'll see that there is literally a ton of things. Now, we've set things up so the most important items go straight into your inbox. There's a few other things that just for the Scouting Centre, and this is completely customizable. If you have no interest in hearing about a trial list from a feeder club that's available, then you send that, so it's only in your scouting box, and that's the only time you'll see it. You won't be bombarded with messages, and it's a really nice way to just see what you want to see at any given time, and it gives you that flexibility, because last year some people found that things were hidden away in their scouting area, and it gives you that perfect balance now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have some default settings, but obviously you can go in and tweak those, and I think, as you said, last year some people miss certain things because it was contained within the Scouting Centre, whereas now being able to choose exactly what you see and when is great. And moving on to preferences as well, speaking about your inbox deliveries, you can customise these as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to have fewer items being delivered to your inbox outside of a transfer window, then you can change that. If you want almost daily reports from your scouting team during a transfer window, then you have that option as well. So it's really, really great around those periods where you're going to be calling upon your scouting team.
Exactly. And a couple nice little options at the bottom. You can see, for example, stop scouting if player is transferred to another club. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just giving you as much control as possible, or once again, you can just leave it all to default and let it just go on in the background. Another nice change to the Scouting Centre is the fact you can change the view to look in the list form rather than the card form. This is great if you want to digest a bunch of players at the same time, or if, for example, you want to only acknowledge like the top 3 players that have been sent to you. You can do that. You can sort it through any of the way at the top of the screen, and then you can select multiple options. You can view loads at the same time. You can acknowledge a bunch. It's really, really easy to digest it all in one go if you just want the top line information.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, I mean, with the cards, there's a lot of detailed information in there, but if you just want a quick overview, maybe if you've set out your scouts to search for something on a short-term focus and they've sent you back a list of, say, 10, 20 or 30 names, you can easily see the information and sort them by the categories you want to judge them by and get through it really, really quickly and
Yeah,
easily.
exactly that. Like, I like to go in and personally sort. If I go through to the list of players on the transfer list, for example, and just I scout the top 20
Exactly.
most expensive players, I can then go on and search by the recommended CA and stuff like that, which is useful. And whilst we're talking of sorting, if we have a look at the card screen now, there's a bunch of new options to sort the scout reports by, isn't there, Tom?
Exactly, yeah. So when you get a recommendation, you may want to judge it by certain criteria, so you can really sort them by the criteria you want to judge people on, which is, again, another really good addition to the game to help you get the best out of finding the next talent that you want to bring into your team.
Exactly that. You can sort by the date that the scout report came in, you can sort by recommendation, knowledge level, current ability, potential ability, a bunch of different options, and it really makes it easy to find exactly what you want in a player.
Before we go and move on to the transfer section of this episode, we're going to reel off now a few of the nicer new additions.
Yeah, a few smaller ones.
So the first one is one of my features, actually, that I suggested, so I'm going to take credit for that, which is the addition of set-piece vulnerabilities to the analyst report, which is obviously useful, especially if you've trained your team on set pieces, as we discussed in last week's episode.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's also the option to add a scouting assignment priority list, so you can sort by priority. Which
exactly.
Is
if, for example, there's this youngster that you want to get your report on him ASAP, whack him to the top priority list. Like, this makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'm a player that just bulk scouts loads and loads of different players, but occasionally I'll be like, I really need to find out about this guy ASAP. And yeah, it's really useful to have the priority list.
Absolutely. Another new addition is the fact that you can now set the number of scouts you want to assign to a short-term focus, which is, again, a really nice addition. You get notifications delivered to your scouting centre if players you were previously scouted are transfer listed, loan listed, or set to release. So if there's a player you've been keeping tabs on who hoped that you might get a chance to buy him because he'd been listed by his club, well, then you get that notification straight away to your scouting centre.
Very, very useful.
And finally, the scouting calendar has now been brought into the inbox as well. So you'll get recommendations from your scouts or your scouting team about which competitions they think you should be scouting. And you can do it all from within the inbox item. So if you want to go and scout a particular league or cup, then you can go and do that. And your scouts will be sent there to monitor the players.
That is that in terms of the new features that we're covering in the FM show for the scouting. There is still a couple other little bits that you'll find around on social media and different places. And of course, a couple of things we're going to wait for you guys to discover yourself. But there's also a whole host of changes to transfers in terms of negotiations, contracts, advice, all that good stuff. So let's crack on to the transfer changes, Tom. And I think we should start off with the agent feedback.
Yeah, this is a particularly useful feature, I think, and I found in my current save, is that you now get advice from the player's agent when you receive an offer from a player. So if you can really preempt the player's reaction, whereas before a lot of people would say, receive an offer from a bigger club and they'd reject it because they want to hold on to that player, and then it wouldn't be immediately obvious that player would be unhappy with that decision. Yeah. Whereas now the player's agent will come to you and say, look, this guy, he really wants out, he really wants to talk to his club, I think you should accept the offer. And that enables you to keep a happy dressing room. It gives you that information to inform you to make that decision, which I think is something that will really benefit people in long-term saves in particular.
Absolutely. And there's also some additional things in terms of kind of notifications and warnings. We've got the fact that it makes it clearer when a player is unwilling to enter contract negotiations due to wage demands. Quite often there'll be players that would potentially be interested in joining your club, but it's quite clear that you don't have the funds available, and it will make it very clear that is the reason he does want to join you.
Yeah.
Should you have the funds available, he would be happy to join your club, but you don't have the money. So that's a nice little one as well, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. And you also get more help now when the player wants you to make the initial contract offer. We've all been there when you just left with that blank screen about with everything unfilled, and you've got to make the first offer. So you get more help now and advice on what sort of wage demands, fees, bonuses you should be including in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of this one. Quite often you'll find the whole screen's blank and you can see and use the existing contract, but this player might want a huge pay rise, and that's why he's even entertaining the idea of talking to you. So having the chance to just click a button and see a potential contract that it might be worth offering him really, really makes it a lot easier for you when sending those contracts out.
And also, we've added a load of new information about player promises and player conversations ahead of a contract. So you can promise new things such as bringing in a potential playing partner for them. So everyone wants to, replicate those dream strike partnerships we've seen over the last decades of football. So if you sign a particular striker, you may want to bring in someone that he's had a traditional history of performing with and bring him into the club to make the player happy.
And it might not even be that though. He might just be best friends with a particular left back,
Exactly.
and that left back's going to follow him around every club he goes to. So it's just a nice little thing.
And another nice one is that you can promise a player a non-playing role as well. So if they're slightly older, looking to take up a role in coaching, with a view to being a manager when they retire, you can offer them that to really sweeten the deal and help them choose your club over someone else.
Absolutely.
Moving on to transfer fees, you can now see the total projected cost of a transfer displayed on the transfer centre screen and also on a player's profile, which is quite a nice feature when you're trying to keep a track of your finances.
Exactly that, yeah. It will show you the total cost that a player could potentially cost you should you fulfil all of the clauses that you set whilst offering for that player. And it's also good to know that this only happens to players that have been bought after games start. So if these are existing transfers when you start your save, this won't actually have that information available to you.
And you also now get more reasons to give a player when you're either selling them or transfer listing them or loan listing them, so you can really explain in more detail as to why that player is being listed or sold, and again try and keep them as happy as possible as you can in that situation.
Yeah, exactly that. And one final thing whilst we're talking money and transfers, when you first join a club you now get the option to set your scouting package. Now this is something that obviously you since last year you've had complete control over the scouting package, but now it just kind of nudges you and lets you know that you can set your scouting package as soon as you joined. I quite often would find I'm like a month into my save and I thought I've never gone and changed it, so it's nice to just give you that nudge to let you know at the start.
Make a mark at your new club as well.
Exactly.
Before we end today's episode though, we've got some exciting news. It's a world exclusive, and it's a world exclusive first playthrough that we're going to be doing on the Football Manager Twitch channel. It's going to be on Friday the 12th of October from 5 PM, and we'll also be picking it up again across the weekend. We're going to be taking charge of Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, indeed.
Obviously the first time we can manage in the Bundesliga, and we're very excited. We're also going to be joined on Friday by studio director Miles Jacobson, who will be popping in for a Q&A, and to also help us sort out our tactics, our training, everything we need to do in order to be successful at Bayer. So we're looking forward to it.
Exactly that. It'll be the first time you guys get to see an unedited look at Football Manager 2019. So it's very, very exciting. And of course, as we mentioned at the start of the episode, there's been a bunch of episodes of the FM show so far. So there will be a link down below to watch that. And of course, Football Manager 2019 is out on November 2nd. So you can pre-purchase it now with a link down below. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like.
And don't forget to comment and leave your feedback in the comment box below.
And if you want to be the first to find out about any future episodes of the FM show, make sure you hit the subscribe on our Football Manager YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye guys.